Welcome to the City of Florissant podcast, your go-to source for news, events, and stories from our beautiful community.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tim Lowery, and welcome to another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. With me today is Sam Johnson. Sam is the Finance Director here for the City of Florissant. Sam's been with us for about a year. Certainly appreciate the work that you've already done in our Finance Department, and certainly appreciate you coming to the city. I know you've heard another municipality before you came with us, so welcome to the city.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here and trying to make purchasing and finance exciting for the podcast here. I'm looking forward to it.
It's maybe difficult. Everyone's here about finance, but it's not exactly the most exciting thing to listen to, but we're going to try to do that today.
All right.
So what we're here to talk about today really is Proposition 2 and Proposition 3. That's going to be on the ballot on April the 7th here in the city of Florissant. And so our goal is kind of to try to explain exactly what those propositions are.
Okay.
So what is Proposition 2 and 3?
So they are both charter amendments, and just kind of for context, the city of Florissant is a charter city, which means that we have a charter which is sort of like our constitution. It governs what the city can and can't do and how the structure of government is formed. And so Proposition 2 and 3 would change some of the language in the charter regarding purchasing and budgeting and a few other things that we'll get into. And these changes require the approval of the people because it is the charter. You know, other policy changes are just votes of the city council established by ordinance, but these are a little different. And so specifically, Proposition 2 addresses some purchasing procedures in Article 6. Right now, the main one that is, I think, causing the most issues for the city right now is that we have some purchasing thresholds laid out at $5,000. If we buy anything over $5,000, it requires a sealed bid, which is a very formal process. It takes a lot of time for us. It takes a lot of time for prospective bidders, and it's very low compared to other cities. And the other one is Proposition 3, also addresses some other purchasing procedures that were laid out in the charter regarding public improvements. And just generally, you don't see a lot of cities have purchasing procedures that are this specific in their charter because as things happen like inflation or state law changes, you then have to get a vote of the people to make the tweaks that you need to keep operating and doing things kind of as intended. And so instead of, adjusting those for inflation, Proposition 2 and 3 would essentially take these things out of the charter and have them be established by ordinance, which is what a lot of other municipalities do.
So how is Proposition 2 and Proposition 3, how are they exactly related to each other other than they're out of finance? They deal with finance.
Sure. So they are different, and the reason they're separate propositions is because they deal with different articles of the charter. So Prop 2 deals with Article 6 of the charter and governs all purchasing procedures. Proposition 3 deals with Article 9 in the charter and deals with public improvement. They're different because they deal with different articles, and but at the same time, they are independent from each other. They both have the same goal of getting these very specific purchasing procedures out of the charter so that they can be governed by ordinance instead. But they deal with different sections of the charter, and they do kind of stand on their own.
Okay. So obviously this goes to the voters. This is a decision of the people, the city of Florissant, the voters. So what happens if one passes and the other one does not?
Nothing bad would happen. Article 6 deals with basically all purchasing, and Article 9 just deals with purchasing of public improvements. And so if one passes and the other doesn't, nothing bad would happen. Like if Article 6 passes, then we could change the purchasing procedures generally, but if Article 9 didn't, then we'd have to keep the current charter provisions for Article 9, so they do stand on their own.
Okay. And now the current policies that we're dealing with right now, what year were those established?
So the charter was established in 1963. It was last amended in 1980, which is, I believe, where that $5,000 threshold was last touched. And so for the past 46 years, nothing has changed.
And Sam, I know that you've actually compared our procedures to other cities.
Sure.
And so our threshold is extremely low compared to other cities.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet it's one of the lowest in the state, definitely among municipalities of our size. And so right now for that formal sealed bid threshold, we have a $5,000 requirement. City of St. Charles has a $50,000. City of Hazelwood has $35,000. Webster Groves, St. Peters, St. Louis County, University City, they all have $25,000. And then you do occasionally find other municipalities with $15,000 and sometimes as low as $10,000. But I've never seen another one that has it established in the charter like this. So those cities can just pass an ordinance anytime they feel like they need to raise it because of inflation or just as a cost-benefit analysis of, is this threshold really saving us money? Is it doing what it's intended to do? But the reason why we're so low is because it's been set in charter, and it is quite difficult, quite expensive to put the question to the people and have them vote on it and get it changed.
So obviously, this is going to save us a lot of man hours. It's going to save us a lot of time and effort that we have to when we have to put the bids out. Do you have an estimate what this would save the city if these would pass?
Yeah, I think it could save the city north of $70,000 a year. So just looking at the requisitions that were submitted last year and the dollar amount, what those were for, if we take our current procedures and we estimate how many man hours were put into getting that requisition approved to make sure it met all the charter requirements and had all the proper approvals that were needed, and then we compare those to a proposed policy that would increase the limit to $25,000. It's several man hours per each requisition. Some would need less man hours under the new policy. Some would require basically no man hours after the new policy. And so looking at and the rates involved of the employees who do that work, I think it's safe to say it's around $70,000.
And then just the timeliness of being able to make a purchase, a lower or less purchase of maybe $8,000 or $10,000. I mean, it's just going to save so much more time and effort and get those items that the city needs on a timelier basis.
Yeah, and on the other side of it, you have contractors, and there's a lot of work that needs to go up front for a sealed bid or a formal bid that frankly isn't worth it for them if they're bidding on a $6,000 job and they have to put 2 hours in prepping the bid, getting the bid bond, and submitting the bid, attending the bid opening, and then negotiating with the city. Whereas if it's under the new policy, that $6,000 job, they're just submitting their quote against 2 other people. They're a lot more likely to bid on the project, and we'll get a lot more responses.
So other than the purchasing policies, what else would change with Proposition 2 and 3?
Sure. There are some other things in those articles which we're going to address while we're in there, or ask the voters to address while we're in there. Specifically in Article 6, there's other purchasing language that we're going to remove along with the thresholds, and so that they could be established by ordinance. The other ones that we're going to put to the voters are related to the budget. So right now, the language doesn't quite match the language in state law regarding funding unencumbered balances or from the city's reserve, and it reads in a way that doesn't match state law and isn't clear how the city's supposed to address situations where it would need to dip into reserve, either for a capital project or in a state of an economic crisis. And then additionally, just putting some language in there that clarifies when amendment can be approved by the mayor internally, very small amendments within departments, versus budget amendments that require council approval. And so just adding some language in there, streamlining with kind of best budgeting practice for cities. And then Proposition 3 addresses public improvements. Right now, Article 9 addresses or deals with public improvements and the process for putting in public improvements, which can be quite onerous. And so this would eliminate the language in that charter and have it be established by ordinance. That way it can match state law and address changes that come up in state law, be more flexible.
So, Sam, I appreciate the information and certainly, informing the voters as to what's Proposition 2 and 3. So if people have more questions, though, that they would have, how would they contact you?
Sure. I'm, in my office during business hours, and they can contact me at my email, which is sjohnson@florissantmo.com, or you can call up to City Hall and ask to speak to the finance director. I'd be happy to take your call.
Very good. Appreciate you being here, Sam. Thanks.
Thank you.
This concludes another edition of the Mayor's Podcast Show. We are Florissant Strong.